and welcome back to Belinda's DIYs. If this is your first time here, welcome. In this channel, you're going to find a lot of inexpensive DIYs, anywhere from farmhouse decor to seasonal. The majority of the materials that I use are from Dollar Tree. Sometimes I do get things from Walmart and also Hobby Lobby. It just depends if I find things on clearance or on sale. So if you're like me that loves to decorate on a budget, then I'm going to ask that if you would please consider to subscribe to my channel and also hit that bell icon right there in the corner so that you can be notified every time that I upload a new video. I do want to let you know that all the items that I'll be using for this project are from Dollar Tree. Today's project is going to be a fall lighted up decor, and it's sitting right here behind me. I love how the fall truck looks with its backlights lighted up. I think it looks really adorable. If you want to see how I put all this together, then please keep watching. I do want to let you know that I'm going to start off by showing you all the items that I'll be using for this project. So if you're ready, let's go ahead and get started. These are the items that I'll be using for this project. First up is this fall box decor, some letter stickers, a wooden pumpkin decor, a couple of wooden dowels, and from this checker game I'll be using the round circles, some fairy lights. Dollar Tree has these at the moment, and a mix of fall bouquets along with some spring greenery, a piece of foam board, and I'll be using this truck pattern that I drew myself. I was inspired by this Dollar Tree fall decor. I just made it in the smaller scale. Some acrylic paints in the color white and the color harvest orange, black, burnt umber, and also country gray. Some Waverly chalk paint in the color agave. The first thing that I did is draw my pattern, and I started off with just regular copy paper. And then I traced it on a cardboard type paper. That way it would be thicker and it would be easier when I would trace it onto my foam board. Next, I'm going to trace out the pattern onto the foam board. Now I'm ready to go ahead and cut it out using my box cutters. And now that I've cut it, I'm just going to clean the edges a little bit. The next thing that I'm going to do is draw out the back window and also the tires. And this is how it's looking so far. Before I start to paint it, I'm going to go ahead and erase all the pencil marks all around the edges. Next, I'll be drawing the backlights, and I'm going to be using a penny as my pattern. And this is how it turned out, and now I'm ready to start painting it. I'll be using the Waverly chalk paint in the color agave, and I'm just going to paint the truck, and I'm just going to go around the back window and around the backlights. I'll also be painting the edges. And this is how it's looking so far. Next, I'll be painting the tires with black paint. And then lastly, I'll be painting the backlights and also the back window using the color Country Gray. Okay, now I'm going to let this dry for just a few hours. The next thing that I want to do is soften up that blue and also give it a rustic look to my truck. So I'm going to lightly brush some white paint on it. Next, I'm going to add some white lines down the center of the tires just to make it look a little bit more realistic. And this is how it turned out. Okay, so the next thing that I'm going to do is make a cart, and I'm going to be using the box decor for that, but I'll be using these round checkers for the wheels. And as you can see, the edging is very thin, so there isn't much for them to hold on onto the box. So I'll be using some foam board to create a filler for them. So I'm just going to trace around the checkers and then cut them out. And I'll be creating these fillers for the rest of the checkers. I'll be using my box cutters to cut out the circles. Once I have my foam circle, I'm just going to add some hot glue to the checker and then just place the foam circle on it. And here is my wheel. I will be doing the same thing to the other 3 checkers. Okay, so now I'm ready to start painting them, and I'll be using the color black. Okay, so now I'm going to set them aside and let them dry. Okay, so now I'm going to start working on the cart, and it's this box decor. Now I'm going to remove that little hanging thing that it has, and all I have to do is just give it a little pull and it comes right off. Okay, so now I'm ready to paint my box, and I'm going to start first on the inside, and then I'm going to work my way out to the sides. And I'll be using the color Burnt Umber. Now I'm just going to let this dry for a few hours. Okay, so now that the paint is dry, I'm going to start brushing on the color Country Gray. I want to give this a rustic look to it, so I'll be using the dry brush technique. And this is how it turned out. Next, I'm going to go ahead and now start adding the wheels to my cart. And the foam side is the one that's going to go against the cart. And this is how this side looks, and now I'm going to do the other side. Okay, now I'm going to create the handle for my cart. And all I did was just cut about 1 inch off from the dowel stick. Next, I'm going to sand off the edges just so that it's nice and smooth. And now I'm ready to hot glue them together, and I'm just going to put just a small dot of glue there at the top of the dowel, and then I'm going to place that 1 inch dowel across. Next, I'm going to paint it with the color black. Okay, so now for my pumpkins, what I'm going to do is just pull them apart. Now I have all these pieces of wood. I'll only be using the 2 smaller ones, and what I'm going to do is now sand the edges off because I will be using them. Okay, I apologize. I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. What I did is just glue the pumpkins onto those small little boards because I used them as a stand. And now I'm ready to paint them. I'm going to start with this pumpkin, and I'm going to use the orange color. And for the stem, I'm going to use the color Burnt Umber. And for this other pumpkin, I'm going to use the color Country Gray. Okay, so now I'm gonna let these dry, and then once they're dry, I'm gonna distress them just a bit. Okay, so for both of the pumpkins, what I'm gonna do is dry brush some burnt umber color going down, almost like making some lines to the pumpkin, but not very defined. And this is how it turned out, and I'll be doing the same thing to the other one. And this is how the gray one turned out. Okay, so now for the letters, what I'm gonna do is paint the ones that I'm gonna be using. And I'll be spelling out the word fall and also harvest. And so I'm gonna be using a sponge to paint the letters. For the word harvest, I did use the color white, and I did have to give it several coats. Okay, so now that the paint is dry, I'm ready to add the word fall to my truck. And once I place them where I want them to be, I'll just press down on them, make sure that they adhere well. And then I spelled out the word harvest to my cart. What I'm gonna do next is poke holes in the backlights, and I'm gonna be using a screwdriver for that. And this is how it looks. I'll do the same thing to the other one. Now I'm ready to hot glue my truck onto my cart. And I'm gonna be putting a little bit of hot glue there down at the bottom where the tires are at, and then press it against the cart. Next, I'm going to be adding both of the pumpkins into the cart, and they slip right in. Next, I'm going to hot glue the handle onto the gray pumpkin. And now I'm ready to add the lights, and I'm going to put one of the fairy lights coming through one of the holes, and then I'll put the other one into the other headlight, and that way it looks like the truck is lighted up. I did add some hot glue there at the back just to keep the wire in place. And then I put the pumpkins back into the cart, and then I just wrap the fairy lights around down at the bottom. And this is how it looks all lighted up. And then I added all the florals in, and this is how it turned out. Well, that is it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up and also share. I'd really appreciate it. You have yourself a blessed day. And remember, love, laugh, and create. Until my next video, bye-bye and God bless.